What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Stack. I am Alex.
I'm Justin.
I am Pete.
And we've got 3 Newsarama reviews for you today. Powers Annual #1, Locke Key #3, and Iron Man Legacy of Doom #1.
Wow.
But before we get into that, just a reminder, we're 2 days away now from New York Comic-Con, which
The
is
real
going to be
countdown.
all over. We mentioned most of the details in the last show. For all the rest of the details and updated details all the time, check out pulpsecret.com, pulpsecret.com. Just
Nice. That's where many of you are right now.
check out internet. The internet is the place
Yes.
that it's on. You can do a Google search on the internet for Pulp Secret, and that should take you right there.
Cool. Get a sandwich before you do it. You might get hungry before you start. Just a tip of the day from Justin and the rest of the Stack guys.
Tip of the day: use the internet and eat 3 times a day. All right, let's get into the books.
Yeah.
I'm get more embarrassed about this. Powers Annual #1. This
Preach
is the
on, Oeming.
first issue of Powers that was written by Oeming, which is actually, I think,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well as him doing the art with certain touches done by Bendis as well.
Indeed.
I really enjoyed it. It's a semi-sequel to an issue they did way earlier in the run. The one with the caveman that everybody loves so much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun and cool to see them throwing back to that.
I mean,
Yeah.
part of me is a little upset that it was just mostly a flashback. You know, it wasn't really.
well, it's an annual. I mean,
Yeah.
it's doing what annuals do now, which I think is kind of cool. That it's part of the ongoing storyline while being its own story, which I think is a nice way of using the annual.
So many annuals and one-shots are like the characters in their current reality being like, remember that time when we did this? And then it's like the whole story, and then they're like, wow, what a time we
What
had.
a time.
Anyway, back to the case. This is very much so. And I liked it as well. I like Powers a lot. It's a great series that
Hey, we agree.
it's very clear, I know.
All 3 of us.
Huh. Never mind. I don't like it.
Yeah, let's move on. Talk about Locke and Key #3.
Yeah.
This series is awesome.
Yeah.
I was really
Totally, fantastically awesome.
really building, really putting it together, really pacing it out. I felt like #1, I was like, oh, what's everybody going crazy about? But then after 2 and 3, I was like, this is an amazing comic.
And you were like, me wants sandwich.
Me want use internet.
Man,
I also like the
Yeah.
series a lot. It's nice, kind of. There's some horror in the air in this series, which is
it's
great,
great.
without it being just aggressively like bloodletting every issue. And and there's some fantasy in there. Like
Some
it's
funny
a real
moments
nice
as well.
universe they're creating. It's great.
Yeah,
Definitely
there's
pick it up.
almost, in fact, nothing horror-wise that happens in this issue because it focuses mainly on the sister character, and it
Yeah.
really gets into her psychology.
Yeah.
And I felt it's really well written. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of, honestly, male writers that can write a teenage girl very well,
Yeah.
and he did a great job with it.
Yeah, I was really, like, when they first introduced, like, when the boy just goes dead and lies there, I was like, oh, imagine if the sister finds it. It was very typical of a kid of, like, being like, hey, knock it off. Knock it off. You know, I thought it was really
Yeah.
funny.
It's great. There's a lot
really
of
smart.
really true, very human moments in it. The art is very enjoyable. It's
Yeah.
cartoony while still feeling very grounded in realism, which I think is nice.
And they treat the audience right. They know that you're following and get it. They don't have to be like, no, he's imagining that dead body. Like they don't. They just do it, and
It's
you
a-
either get
It's
it or
an
you don't.
incredibly smart book.
Yeah.
If you've been staying away from it because of the hype, ignore the hype.
Yeah.
Just get on board.
Eat the hype and enjoy this book.
3 times a day. Hype in Google, if you'll find out what it means. Iron Man Legacy of Doom #1, which is the long-awaited conclusion to
Man.
the Doom versus Iron Man
Can you
trilogy.
believe we agreed about the first 2 books, and now we're reviewing a third book?
Wow.
Wow, are we going to agree on the third
I don't
book as
know.
well?
Raise your hand if you liked it. No.
Oh, phew.
Boo.
Oh, you tricked us. All right, what didn't you like about it?
This is like very schlocky superheroics, I find. Like it's like
Schlocky?
schlocky. Like it's like, okay, we get it.
I'm gonna have
Like
to Google
Iron
that
Man,
later.
please. Also try a dictionary, caveman. Iron Man and Doom kind of team up, but then surprise, surprise, someone gets screwed over in the end.
That's what I really liked about it. I kind of enjoyed the old school schlocky heroics going on. And it didn't feel like a lot of people are trying to, take old school stuff and update it, make it very dark and gritty.
Yeah.
Or they try to do old school stuff and it just feels very forced. But this is old school and it feels like an issue that could have come out 30 or 40 years ago. But
Bingo,
in
exactly.
a good way.
Yeah,
In a
I
good way.
also really liked the banter, the back and forth. I thought that was really fun. I mean, it was tough for me because I hate Iron Man, so I was just like, all right, this is gonna blow.
So you
And
on
then I
Doom's
was-
side throughout most of it.
Yeah. And then I was like, of course, Mephisto. And I was like, can we just not talk about this guy for a while? Can't we just be in mourning and just let's
Mourning.
Well, that's the
pretend
thing
like
that I liked about it. Is it's for, it completely buys into current continuity,
Yeah,
but
in the
at the
most-
same time, it's like whatever. I forgot about it.
Yeah, and I just felt like Doom was written totally out of character, and all the stuff was
I don't
just
know
like,
about that.
come on, Iron Man doing.
Would
all
you
that-
prefer that Doom was like, I'm going to cut out your whore's heart?
No. I just want him to be like. There's a specific voice of Doom, and it's out there. Like, just
But this
write
is
it.
Yeah, he's always
Old-timey
calling people
Doom.
fat cows and cutting out their whore's
All
hearts.
right, we all know what you're talking about.
Yes, we do, and you love that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, after the break, we're
I
going to have
want
a speed
more
round
swearing.
of viewer questions, so stay tuned.
Hey, did you know comics have a long tradition of interactivity? Yeah, before the internet there were letters pages. Fans would send in questions and comments and creators would print those letters along with their responses in the next issue. Now these days a lot of comics have ditched the letters pages, but Pulp Secret thinks some traditions are worth keeping. Send an email to tips@pulpsecret.com, upload a video comment, or leave a message at 888-841-7549 and let your voice be heard, literally. Pulp Secret, keeping the tradition alive.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back with the stack.
Hey, wow.
That's cool. We got to practice
We're
that.
attacked.
That's good. We
back
got to
and
practice
you
that.
don't-
We're going to be doing a lot of turns, and we're going on tour as the Four Tops.
Yeah.
There's only three of us, but whatever. All right, let's
We
get
don't
into
need
the
to how
speed
good we are.
round. Speed round.
Hey, you
guys.
start.
let's
you
do
start
it.
it off.
It's
I'll
your-
start
it's
off.
your-
I know.
Why don't you do it?
Kicking off.
You guys just see
Hey,
Yeah,
dog.
we just. Why don't-
Hey, dog. You want-
Yeah.
Green Lantern Corps number 23. This title has been okay for the past several issues, but it's definitely back on track. That being said, they're bringing Black Mercy in, and I just feel like it's such an overused DC thing, so we'll see where this goes.
Scud, the Disposable Assassin number 23. It's awesome. I'm so glad it's back. It's so much fun. He's heartbroken, and it's very touching.
It says so on his body.
Yeah.
I wish my body said that.
Aw.
My comic is Criminal 2 number 2, which was fantastic. If you like this series, it's a great series because it's so long and interconnected, like piping. Get on board.
Suburban Glamour number 4. I've really enjoyed this series specifically for the art, which continues to be great in this last issue. I look forward to another series, even though this issue, the whole series didn't quite pan out for me.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with you on that. All right, Echo
sweet.
number 2. First one I was like, eh. Second one I'm like, cool. This is really getting better.
Cool.
I like where it's going. Don't judge me. It's a solid comics, written well, drawn well.
All right, time for viewer mail. Dan writes into tips@pulpsecret.com. Do you think comics should aspire to be like movies with realistic art, set pieces, and film-style scripts, or should they be pursuing their own thing?
I really feel that, like, if you want to make a comic, make a comic. If you want to make a movie, make a movie.
Oh, that's very
You
clear.
know, it's nice when something you love gets made into a movie and you hope it doesn't suck. But I don't think you should go out, and be like, hey, you know what? This comic thing is just a stepping stone so I can make movies.
Well, yeah, I mean, but how many people get into comics to be like, I want to make movies?
I think
don't know.
actually, at this point, a lot of people do, because a lot of people see it as a way of building a fan base
Right.
for a specific idea or title before they can sell it as a movie. In fact, I know of several titles offhand that people pitched as a movie script, and then they said, well, why don't we
No, well, I know.
why don't we make it as a comic first, see if people really take to it.
Definitely,
and
as an
then sell the
audience,
movie.
to build an audience, totally. But as far as it having to be cinematic in the comic itself, like, I don't think that really, like, the Ultimates is told in a very cinematic story.
Right.
But they're not going to option that for a movie.
Right.
So
I totally agree with you. I mean, I remember sitting down and way back and reading Civil War #1. And that felt to me with its widescreen format. I looked at that and I was like, wow, this is like the future of comic books in a certain way. Just because it had those very wide, very cinematic panels. And I liked it in that case. And I think it worked as a comic book. I think it's whatever is best for telling your story.
exactly.
Yeah. That's
And like we can go watch movies if we want a specific type of storytelling.
can?
Like, yeah, not you.
No, okay.
You're not allowed to go to
Banned
any
from the
movie theater.
Yeah.
After that time,
Too
I
much-
molested that movie.
What?
Yeah. You were caught fondling the screen.
Guess the movie Transformers.
See, I was going to say Bratz. Well, they were both of them.
Oh,
All right.
Later.
Well, that derailed everything. What do you guys think? Should comic books be more like movies, or should movies be more like comic books?
Yeah,
If
slower
you have a
and
question,
turn on with your own
call
hand.
us at 888-841-7549 or write into tips@pulpsecret.com. You can upload your video responses on YouTube or comment right here below the video. Also, as a reminder, we are running a Draw Your Own Superhero contest here on pulpsecret.com, which you can find. Go to Google, put in Pulp Secret, you'll find it right there. Get the details there from Google, search pulpsecret.com, and you could win this black and white Batman statue.
I wish I could win it.
What's Google?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you got to put it into Yahoo.
Oh, yeah.
Search Google and Yahoo, and you'll find
I'll
out.
check my GeoCities
We'll have a
page.
sandwich.
It was funny because
cool.
a dolphin told me about Yahoo.
A dolphin?
That's
Yeah.
probably true.